Hi guys, welcome. Today we are going to start a new topic which is called integration. I think last week I tried to explain the importance of this integration. Now, when you become a developer, most likely in interviews you will be asked for integration. Now, I will say this, developer part contains three main branch. One of them is called trigger, which you have learned. Second part is integration, which you are going to learn. And the last part is LWC. I would easily say that, 55%, you are responsible for LWC. I would say, I don't know, maybe 40% integration. Let's say 35 to 40, and the rest will be trigger. This is important, my friends, which means you need to be careful. You need to be, how would I put this? Really excited about this integration. Now, let's start. It's going to be easy, first of all. Just today, I'll try my best to explain the basics. And I don't know, maybe in our last session, we will start writing some codes. But the first thing, you should understand what is integration, how does it work, okay? Now, we are going to learn integration today, and I'll try my best to explain how it works. And then we are going to learn JSON, XML, and REST API. This is not, hard, you will learn. Okay, now, when I say integration, what you should understand. Let's assume, my friends, I don't know if you have done, once upon a time I was an Uber driver. Now you have an application. Now you have a customer here which called you. It appeared on your application, on your cell phone, says now the address of the client is here. Your customer is here. Now you have something you need to, click, and then you will be asked to choose options. The first one, it will say that, do you want to use map for Uber? Uber has its own map, or do you want Google Map? We usually ask for Google Map, my friends. We usually ask for Google Map, which means we have another application, totally different application, which is Google Map. Google Map. Now, these two different programs, these two different applications, they have to interact with them. For example, we have the address of user. We have to pass address to Google Map, and then we need to fetch data from Google Map. See, two different applications, they are talking with each other. This is called integration. This is called integration. Two different applications talk with each other, and this is called I'm really shocked, sorry about this, integration. That's the purpose. Now you will learn, I will try to teach all these things. Just I need to check. I received a message. Okay, now I see. Deepak sent me all the codes. Okay, here it is. Now let's read it. Then I'm good. Salesforce integration is the process of connecting Salesforce with third-party systems. Connecting systems and exchanging information between systems is called integration, which I tried to explain. We have something. Now we have a special program which is called MuleSoft. MuleSoft is, how would I put this? It's an integration program, but we don't teach it. Actually, Salesforce has lots of branches. One of them, they created MuleSoft, which helps to integrate two different applications, but not only Salesforce. You can integrate, with using MuleSoft, you can integrate two different programs, two different applications, but mostly it's used for Salesforce, which means if you want, you can learn something related to MuleSoft, and you can say, okay, now I know how to integrate things. This is advised. This is advised. You know, when you check job postings, sometimes you see, they say, experienced MuleSoft, programmer or developer. This is the thing. Okay, now let's continue. How it happens. How it happens. Now think that this is Uber and this is Google Map. As I tried to explain, Uber requests something from Google Map. We have types of requests. We have get, post, put, etc. The application who makes the request is called subscriber, consumer, or client. I will go with client. Okay, I will go with client. Client makes the requests, and then the other side, which is called publisher, provider, I will go with provider. If provider has the method, you will learn how we write this method. If provider have this method, according to the request, they provide the response. And then the consumer or the client will get the response and do whatever they want. One side makes the request, subscriber or client makes the requests, and if the provider has the method, now it gives the response and the client do whatever it wants. Okay, this is the thing. This is the first one. Now see, my Uber is client now. My Uber is client. Now, maybe a second later, 1 minute later, or I don't know how many, then Google Map may request something from our Uber application. You cannot say, my application will be just, client. No, your application should be provider and the client at the same time. Okay, think that Google Map requested something, which means we had to create a method to provide the response, and then we will respond and Google Map do whatever they want. See, we have two-way relationship. Your application, it can be Uber, it can be Salesforce, whatever. It should be client and also provider at the same time. This is the easiest part. Now, one side makes the requests, second side, provides the data. That's the thing. Okay, now let's continue. Let's dive a little bit deep. Let's dive a little bit deep here. This is a little bit technical. Now you have a system. This can be Uber, this can be Salesforce, this can be whatever program it can. Now, this makes the requests, and then this is called making call out, which means system A makes the call out, but which website or which program this system A wants to interact, we have to create the endpoint, which means www, let's say googlemap.com. We have to provide the endpoint, and then we will reach to system B. Now, this is the thing. System B will check our credential. What does this mean? Think that, my friends, Uber, they want data from Google Map, but Google Map needs to make money. They will ask that, okay, now you are asking data from me. Okay, now please, do you have the credential? At the first step, when you download the application, your Uber application into your cell phone, the first time when you keep, create the integration between system A and B, system B provides the password. I will go with password, but maybe today you will learn that this is not named as password. This will be named as token. But for now, let's go with password. Now, system B provides the password to system A, and now this guy has the password of system B. Now, when Uber wants to integrate with the system B, Google Map, now this has the password, parole. Now, we make the request, we have our endpoint, which is www, Google Map, etc., and we have the password. If we provide the password, which means Google Map will, allow us to get whatever we want, and then according to our request, it can be GET request, it can be POST request. We have types of requests. If Google Map has the method according to our request, they will provide a data which is called response. And then system A will receive the response and do whatever it wants. Now, what we learned, they are talking. We need to create the endpoint. This is called callout, and we have to provide the credentials. Otherwise, we cannot interact. I'm trying my best to be as slow as possible. Now, but we have a tiny problem. What does this mean? Now, let's assume this is Salesforce, and the language of Salesforce is called Apex. I don't know, maybe, Google Map has different language. Let's go with C#. I don't know, I'm just making up. Now, they want to talk with each other, right? They have to interact. Now, one will talk in Apex, the other will talk in C#, which means they cannot communicate. To solve this problem, computer scientists said, okay, now we need to create a common language between two systems. Common language. Now, if this Chinese guy wants to say something to this Turkish guy, we have to convert this Chinese to English. And then we will pass this to second guy, and then we need to translate this English to Turkish. Then this guy will understand what does Chinese guy want. See, this is how it works. Now, this is something, real life experience. Now, think that this is system A, and this is system B. This has totally different language, and this has totally different language. Then we need to create a common language to communicate, which is called XML or JSON. We have, not only two, we have, I don't know, maybe over 10 different common language. Let's go like this. But the most known is XML and JSON. Nowadays, we have other things, GraphQL or etc. Now, we will learn what does XML and what does JSON mean. Secondly, we have some protocol. We have some protocol between these two. Now, in real life, it works like this, right? If you want to communicate with one, you cannot do whatever you want. You have to you have to behave, you have to do this and that. Now, that's the thing, my friends. In this integration, we have types of, how would I say this, protocol. The most known is SOAP and REST API. These are protocols, my friends. These are protocols. What I mean, in REST API, you have some methods which you can use. In SOAP API, you have some methods you can use, right? Now, according to the REST API or SOAP API, if you want to, interact with the second system, then you have to obey the rules. Now, in REST API, we have 5 different requests. You cannot create the 6th one, no, because it's already created. This is the protocol you have to obey. In SOAP API, you have some different. Now, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn REST API. If, after learning REST API, if you give some time, let's say 2 days, then you can understand SOAP API. But first, REST API. Why? Because this is easy to understand. This is easy to understand and relatively fast and simple. Because of this, you are going to learn, we are going to teach REST API. And also, as I mentioned, we have 2 different languages, which is called XML and JSON. We will continue with JSON. Now, after this integration, you will say, okay, I learned REST API and JSON. Then, if you have time, if you work 2 days, you can learn XML and SOAP API because you have the basic, and then you can continue. Now, what's the difference between REST API and SOAP API? These are, the basics. You don't need to memorize all of them. Just you should say that, okay, now I learned REST API and JSON, and then if you want, you can study SOAP API and then XML. Okay, SOAP API, it's used for, XML. First thing, REST API, we can use XML or JSON, but mostly JSON. Why? Because it's easy to understand. Second, this is relatively slow. REST API is fast. But SOAP API is more secure. It's a little bit less secure. What I mean most and less. Now think that if it's, speed 8 or 100, but this is fast, which means 90. This is low secure, let's go with 80, but this is more secure, 90, which means, yeah, we have some difference, but not a huge difference gap, between these two. Just this is relatively slow but secure. This is fast, but a little bit less secure. Now think that you are working in a bank. Security is really important. In a bank, mostly you will be asked to use SOAP API. And think that you are working on, I don't know, Gmail. You want to send email. Now, in emails, you have to be careful. It's, you have to be secure. And speed is not that important. Speed is not that important because you can send email and you can wait 5 minutes. It's not a problem. But think that you are using a navigation application, which means, my friends, the data will flow, should flow. You cannot wait, I don't know, more than 2 seconds. Now, if you try SOAP API in a navigation application, then you will fail. Or you are using WhatsApp, you are working on the WhatsApp application. Now, one side sends the message and the other will wait, I don't know, 1 minute. Will it work? No. If you have, WhatsApp application, then it should go with REST API because it's a little bit faster than the first one. See, these are the things which we should, understand. And REST API uses HTTP. These are technical things you don't need to remember at all, but somehow you should be aware of. And this is easy to, integrate with JavaScript, but JavaScript is a little bit tough to use here, which means if you are using an application which is based on JavaScript, then you need to go with REST API. These are the things. Okay, these are the things, my friends. It's not that important, just you should understand that we have 2 main branch about the language, communication language. Protocol. One of them is SOAP, the other one is REST, and we are going to learn REST API. Okay, let's talk about XML and JSON. XML and JSON. Now, we have XML, which we are not going to learn, but we need to understand the basics. You have learned HTML, right? On HTML, you have tags, which mean H1 tag, right? P tag, you have I don't know, h2 tag and div tag, these are predefined tags. You cannot create a new tag. No, it's forbidden. This is already there. But on XML, you can create your own tag here on the right part. Now, this is for, I think, email. This is an email, maybe not, it's created. Now, you can say note, or you can change this to my note. And for sure, you have to close it. My note. See? You can say body, okay. Heading, no. You can say header. You can change everything, which means in XML, you can create the text. It's not predefined. This is the useful part. And now you are going to interact with the second part, right? You created this. You said, okay, I am going to use note tag, and then I'm going to use to tag, and I'm going to use from tag, etc., etc. Now, if you give this structure to your second, third-party system, they will understand that. You are going to communicate with these tags. It's easy. It's understandable. Okay? And if you agree, you can change here. You can say, okay, now, from now on, we are going to use, I don't know, body with my body. If you both agree, there is no problem with this. See, it's really nice. This is the, I would say, pros. About the cons, it's slow, relatively slow, my friends. It's relatively slow. Okay? And why we need, we can store the data and also transport the data, which we are going to focus transporting the data. Okay, this is called XML. Here we have an example. See, my friends, this is for emails. Actually, we are storing email, or we can transport, sorry. Now, we have emails tag, it's open here and closed here. See, this is the first email. This is the second email. And we have lots of emails. Here it is. We have, I don't know, 19,000 email, etc. See, you can store. But we have something here. We have something here. This is important. I think we learned this, right? This is the language we are using, which means in Turkish we have special letters like Ü, like, I don't know, we say soft G, it's really weird, but, and then, I don't know, Ö. Now, if you use UTF-8, which means these letters are included in your task. This is UTF, okay? Now, if you want to, pass data in Chinese, you need to use something else. But UTF-8 is the most known and used encoding, okay? This is for that. Okay, that's for XML. Now, I'm going to show you something you will understand easily here. If you want, for sure, you can translate XML to JSON. We have lots of websites for this. Let's open the first one. Here it is. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you something here. This is JSON. Sorry, this is XML, my friends. See, nearly same. We have the same structure. This is the JSON format. We have companies tag. Here we have key. You are going to learn. We have employee tag here. Here we have employee key. JSON, they have tags. Sorry, XML have tags. JSON has key value pair. Okay, actually we are doing the same thing. There is no huge difference between XML and JSON. That's the thing. Okay, now let's go and understand or learn about JSON. We have to focus here, my friends. Now, this is basically a string. We name as JSON string. It's not totally string, but it's similar because of it's called JSON string first. Second, in JSON, we have key value pairs. In here, name, age, gender. These are the keys. Keys should be string. Keys should be string. And John, 22, and male are the values. Values can be anything. It can be an object, it can be an integer, it can be a decimal, it can be an Boolean, whatever. Now, just we should understand here. Now, we have curly braces. We have curly braces. It's important. In JSON, you have to use curly braces. Actually, you don't need, we have serialization, which is only one line of code. Everything is done by Salesforce, actually, with Apex. Just you should understand how to read it. Now, this is called JSON object. This is an object. These are the keys, and this is the value. Now, think that we have account, right? Account has name, account has, I don't know, rating, account has phone, etc. Now, if you want to create a JSON object, you need to put curly braces, and you have to say name, and then, I don't know, Burlington Textile. You need to say rating, let's say hot, and you need to say phone, and then let's go 1, 2, 3, whatever. See, you have created a JSON string. It is this easy. Now, what we have key value pairs. This is called JSON. Now, let's dive a little bit there. Here, this is called JSON object because we have keys and values. This is called JSON array. We will name as list. See, with this, brackets, you will understand that this is an array. In Apex, we name them as list, but in JSON language, we name them as array. This has 3 elements in this array. It's working like indexes, the 0th index, first index, and second index. Here, this is going to be first index, and second index. This is the 0th index. And see, we have an array full of objects. We have an array full of objects, actually 3 objects. 3 objects as an element in our array. This is JSON structure, my friends. This is the JSON structure. Okay, now let's dive a little bit deep. Now, we have created a string. This is our JSON object. These are the keys. And John 22, here we have something. Now, as you see, my friends, not here, we have an object as value. This can happen. Now we have key. Let me do like this. Key, value. Key is name. Value type is string. Key is age. Value type is, as you see, integer. We have hobby, and the value type is object. This is important, my friends. See, you can have object as value. And also, we may have inner object here. This can happen. Okay. And the last one, we have class. And as you see, the value is an array, which means we may have several types of values in our JSON syntax. Okay, this is important. Now, when I say JSON, you should understand that, okay, we have key value pairs. Keys should be string. That's a must. And values can be everything. Okay, anything. Okay, now let's try one more thing. Think that I want to fetch 22. How can I reach this? Here, I have the syntax data dot. We have a key which is called age. When you use this, you will retrieve 22. Okay. Now, if you want to fetch gaming, you should say I have data dot, I have hobby dot, and I have gaming. This will return false because it's false. If you want to reach HTML, as you see, this is an array, 0th index, 1st index, and 2nd index. Now you should say data. We have class. Now we want to retrieve HTML. Because this is an array, you have to use 1, because we wanted HTML, right? We need to write 1 here. Now, this is going to fetch HTML. Is this part clear, my friends? Any question you have, please don't hesitate and ask right away. It's easy, first of all, as far as I see, it's easy.
It's like a combination of JavaScript and Apex, I think.
You know, JSON string is universal. You can use JSON string everywhere, in C#, in Java, in Apex, in JavaScript, wherever you want. This is the syntax. Here, we are trying, you know, as you see, console, it's coming from JavaScript language. You can reach with Apex too, but you should understand the logic. Now, instead of console log, you can say system debug. System debug data.age, then you will retrieve John, or age, if it is age, it's 22. Deepak, is everything clear?
So referring to this particular code snippet, so
Yeah.
I have two, can I say like I have two elements on my data?
2 elements?
One is, yeah.
No, actually we have 1 element. It's just a string. This is an object. It's something like map. Map in Apex. Now here it is. You shouldn't think like this, otherwise you will get confused here. I have only 1 object. This data. Now this has keys as, I don't know, name. Let's divide it here. And then we have age. We have hobby like this. And we have values. In our map, the values should be the same, but in here, no, you don't have to. In JSON string, now you put John here. Name is combined with John as value. Age is, you know, paired with 22, etc.
Okay, that part I'm clear. So when you refer to the class, so my class is my another key, right? That's the key.
Yes.
So and it has 3 values: JavaScript, HTML, and CSS.
Well, yes.
Okay, so that is the list of element. There I have list, right?
Yes.
So under the same data, like some key value pair are on list, some key value pair are on boolean, right?
That's array, Deepak. The class one, the
This
value
is
is
array.
array.
Now, when you say, I want data.class, what you are going to receive? You are going to receive an array with JavaScript, with HTML, with CSS. It's an array. When you say data.class, you will receive an array. Now here, if you say data.hobby, you are going to receive an object. You are going to receive an object.
Okay, if I
Reading
say
through
data.name, then I just receive John.
John, yeah, that's all. You are going to receive this one.
Meaning I can have any data type inside my JSON object.
Yes, but the keys should be string. Values can be anything.
Even
Number,
as subject to?
even an S object. Let me think. But S object should be, JSON. Otherwise, no, it cannot be. If it is JSON, yes.
What does it mean? It should be JSON mean?
Nested JSON string. Let's say like that. Nested JSON string. Now you cannot say, okay, now S object. We have an S object. When I say S object, what I mean, we have fields, we have values, etc. Now, how you should say this? Let's say you said select ID and name from account. Yes, this is an S object, right?
Correct.
Now, if you want to put it here, you should convert this to JSON. Otherwise, see, it's JSON. This is JSON. Also, this is a string. I would say that this is string, but in an array format. This is an array. Okay, just don't focus that part. You will learn. Actually,
Okay.
I would say that mostly you will not think about this part. We have only one line of code which converts everything to JSON. That's all. It's really easy. Okay. Now, my friends, let's continue. We remember, right, how integration works. First, we have a client. This makes the request, and the provider has the paired or the method which we want. They will provide the response. This is the thing. This is the way of working. And also, my friends, the same site. Let's go with Salesforce now. We wanted data from Google Map. Can this happen? Yes. We said, please, I want some data from you. They have the get method and they provide the data, and we did whatever we want. Now, 1 second later, they may ask some data from us. They may make a request. They say, okay, now I need some data from you. Okay, then we should have the proper method that we will provide the data to Google Maps. Now, see, we can, our Salesforce will be provider and client at the same time. Okay, now let's go and try to understand this part. First, what I'm going to do, we are going to create to understand the REST method. We have client side and we have provider side. Now, client may request, we may create a get request, a post request, put request, delete request, and patch request. These are the things client can ask from you. This is client side. This is the REST API methods, my friends. Now, provider, if client makes the get request, if provider has HTTP GET, which means you are responding to GET method, you are giving the response to GET method, then you can give the data. Now, why we need GET method? If client wants to retrieve some data from third-party system, we need to use GET method. And provider should have HTTP GET. This is the first method. Second, client may want to insert some data to our database. Now, this is Uber. This is Google Map. Uber has its own database. Google Map has its own database. Now, if Uber says, okay, I want to insert some data to Google Map database, this is client side, they should ask, okay, I have a post method. I'm trying to post Google Maps something. And then if provider side has the proper method, they will get the data from Uber and insert to their database. Okay, this is how it works. Now, get and post, you are going to learn all of them, by the way. We are going to write lots of code related to them. And then we have put method, we have delete method, we have patch method. Delete is easy. If you provide an ID, then you will be able to delete some data from the third-party system. You are not deleting from your system. You are trying to delete from other system. Okay? And put means, actually, let's go with patch. Patch means actually update. If you want to update a data on the third-party system, you need to use patch. What about put? We know absurd, right? Let's go like this. This is retrieve. This is insert. This is delete. This is update. And this is absurd. You remember absurd, right? Which means if the record exists, please update. If you don't have the record which I'm passing you, please insert it. This is insert, my friends. Absurd, sorry. We have 5 different methods. And our provider should have get method, post method, put, delete, patch method if they want to give the response. Sometimes they may say, okay, you cannot post anything to me. My database is not, for your service. No. Even though you make the request, I don't have the method, which means you cannot insert anything to my database. Can this happen? Yes, why not? Okay, now we are going to learn client side. First, we are going to learn client side. For that, my friends, I want to create a single method. Why? Because while we are using get method or post method or put method, we will try to understand the third-party system. If we create a simple provider method, then everything will be really nice. Okay, now I have to give a break now. Let's just create our provider. It's going to be easy, my friends. Whatever you name, it's all up to you. Here we are. Let's open our developer console. Here it is. Now I'm going to close all of them. Let's create a new Apex class. Whatever you name. Let's go with, I don't know, account provider. Which means this method will provide data to third-party system. Now, we are creating the provider part. Let's say, okay. Now, first thing, my friends, as you remember, if this was a test class, what we did, we said, okay, we have to put, is test here, right? This was a must. Now, this class will be provider, then we have to write something here. We have to say that, okay, this is going to be a provider. Now, how we can do this? Let's scroll down and try to find it. Where is it? Nope. Let's give a break, my friends. We have to write something. It's a little bit complicated, but you will see in no time. These are other things, my friends. Okay, let's stop here. We have, because it's going to take a little bit time and I don't want to waste your time. Now, here we are. We have to write something here to say that, okay, this is going to be a provider class. Okay, let's stop here. Let's give 10 minutes break. Then we will be here in 10, my friends. Let's go. Good. Okay, I'll be here in 10 minutes. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back, Deepak. Good, can you hear me? Let's wait a bit. Okay, good. When I hear from you, I'm going to start.
I'm so sorry, Hocam. I'm here.
No problem, no problem. Okay, now, this is not our purpose, by the way, my friends. Just we are trying to understand the structure of provider. After I finish this one, I will, try to show you how client works. This is provider side. Now think that we are the provider. Someone will ask some data from us. They want to retrieve. They will ask some data. I am writing the provider, but we will write it later. We will write it later. Just I want you to understand how provider methods are written, because we are going to understand the client side. Okay, now here, first thing first, you should say that, okay, now this is going to be a provider class. How we do this? We say REST resource. First thing, your class should have REST resource annotation. Now, if it is REST resource, which means third-party system will use your class. Now, when we have public, third-party program, third-party application cannot reach this. Now, what was public mean? We have some access modifiers, right? One was private, the other one is public, and
Global.
we have global. Now, private means just you can reach in this class. Public means, yes, I have an org. In my org, everybody can reach this, public class or method. Global means all over the world. If they have the credential, they can reach and use our class. For that, as you see, when I say we have REST resource, it says, okay, this should be global. I have to change this. Now, okay, this part is done. Now think that Google Map, we are writing Uber. Let's assume that Google Maps said, okay, I want to get some account. And also they want to get some opportunity records. And they want to get some, I don't know, case records. Now, they have to provide endpoint, right? www.salesforce.something here for account. www.salesforce.something to provide the opportunity. www.salesforce.something to provide case, right? Which means we have to give different endpoints to different objects. I have to provide that here. I have to say that, okay, if this is related to account, Google Map or the third-party system should write something here to reach account records. Now, how we can do this? It's really easy, my friends. It's really easy. Let me copy it from here. That's it. Now, if they want to reach my accounts, I have Salesforce, right? www.salesforce/accounts here. Then they can reach this class. This is called endpoint. But first, they have to provide my username, my URL name. Now let's go and try to understand on our org here. When I say Arizona, this is an account, right? See, I have Wise Quarter, etc., 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 until here. This is account. This is account. Now, check this part, my friends. What's going to happen here? If I want, because I have to go to another application because this doesn't have any others, let's check the leads. Let me open one lead. See, my friends, just this part is changing. And also the rest. But we should focus here. This is my lead record. Okay, let's go and open others. I don't know, contacts. It was a contact, right? Let's go, I don't know, opportunity. Here it is. This is the opportunity. See, my friends, this part doesn't change, which means they should have this URL. And then if they write opportunity, they will be able to fetch opportunity. You got it. Same logic applies here. When I write accounts, they should have the URL. And then at the end of this URL, if they write accounts, then they will be able to get the records from here. This is the first part. Secondly, now, they may use, these are the things. If they want to get some data, they have to ask get method. If they want to insert some data, they have to post data. If they want to delete something, they should use delete methods. Now, if they want to get some data, I should say, okay, here is the method HTTP get. And I will write global. Let's go with static. And then what will I return? I don't know. Let's go XXX here. Provide account records. Here it is. Now, I will fetch list of accounts from my database. ACC list is equal to, now I need to write the query, select ID, comma name, let's say rating from account object, and I want to limit with 3. Now, I fetched the data which I want to, give to my opponent, and now I have to return this. If I want to return a list of account, instead of X, I should say, okay, now, if they want some data from me, if they use get method, please call this one, and I will return a list of accounts to them. Here, return ACC list. My get method, actually provider, is ready. Now, if I save this, and my opponent says, I want some data from you, some accounts from you, I will return just 3 records. And then not all the fields. I will return the ID, name, and the rating. The rest, no, I am not sharing that one. I'm not sharing with them. Just they can see ID, name, and rating. That's all. Is this part clear, my friends? Now, what I did, I have created a really tiny little, resource, which if they want, they will get 3 accounts from me, and it's random. They will get 3 random records.
Excuse me, one quick confirmation here.
Yes.
So this is not my regular Apex class, right? This is like a special class, right? Like a test class.
Yeah, it's a resource class.
Okay, then we are a server here, right?
Yeah, we are somehow server. Yeah, you can say it like that. We are providing. Now, you should think that, okay, they have a method with HTTP get, and when I ask get method, they will provide something. You should, it's really simple. No, this is not the code we are going to write. We will write, I don't know, maybe hundreds of lines, but just in here, if they want some account, I will give them 3 accounts with 3 fields. That's all. We'll try to understand how they wrote their HTTP GET method. We will try to understand them because they are not going to share with us for sure, but we'll try to understand how they wrote it. And then we will convert this. We will not actually, in our mind, we say, if they ask account, I have to say this. If they give me that, then we will continue. Okay, we'll continue. This is some kind of stat server. Yeah, we can say somehow server. Okay, that's it. Now, my friends, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. How client and provider interacts. We are diving a little bit more deep because I'm trying to show you step by step. I could go with this one, but you might get confused. Now you know how it works. You say, okay, we have two sides. You should understand this, my friends. Now we have two sides. One of them is called client. Client makes the request. We have some types of requests. One of them is get, post, delete, put, patch. And provider should have a method, and then they will provide us some data. Then I will get the data and do whatever I want if I'm the client. Now, if I'm the provider, we wrote a really tiny single method. We have a get method. Okay. If third-party system makes a request from us, let's say get request, I have my method. It's related to account object. Account object. Now, if they make a get request, I will give them just 3 records. And the records will have just ID, name, and rating. That's all. I didn't share that much information with them. That's the thing. Now, we wrote a provider method, which is good, but now we'll try to understand client part, because I will say that as a client, I will need some data from you, and then they have to provide me. Okay. I hope this part is clear. Now we created our REST method. We used REST resource, and we used URL mapping. Everything is ready in our side. But the thing is, we are going to get some data. Okay. Now let's dive a little bit deep. What's happening when we use get method or post method or put method? Okay, I will try to explain. Now think that this is client side. This is client side. We want to post some data. What I mean? Think that, my friends, think that. Here we have some data. Let's go to my account object again. I have account object. As you see, I have lots of data. I want to pass this data to other system. I want to send this. Can I do? Yes, I can. Now, what I need to do, what I have to write, as a code. First, I should say that, okay, I have, let's go with a single record. I have a record here. Okay, first, I have to retrieve this record from my database. I'm trying to insert data to third-party system. Now, this is in Apex language, right? No, I cannot pass this Apex. My connection should be on JSON, which means I have to convert this as object to JSON, which is called serialization. Mostly it's done by Salesforce automatically, but I'm going to show you how we do this. Now, I have a JSON record or JSON string. I fetched from database, and now I'm going to pass it. Okay, I'm going to ask my opponent to insert this data into their database. When I create a request, it can be any get, post, put, other. Actually, I am creating, my friends, a bunch of code which has two parts. The first part is called header, second part called body. I have to create this one. This is on JSON, but we have header and body. Okay, when you serialize, actually you have two, you are creating two parts. Well, first part is called header, second part is called body. Okay. Now, you will learn what we have on header. We have endpoint on header. We have password on header. We have almost, I will say, maybe 20 keys on header. We have lots of things on header. And body, this will hold the data which I'm passing. I will pass the data on body part. It's like a track. It's like a track. We have header, which lots of things goes on, and we have the load, here. Okay, now, just when you serialize, you have this one. Actually, not serialize, sorry. If you make a request, this is created right away. You don't need to think. It's, running behind the scene. You don't say, okay, now I have this part, please go put this. No, just make the request. This tool will be created right away, but you can, adjust according to your need. Okay, this is done. Then what happens? My opponent or third-party system gets the request. Let's go with post again. Post. Now, they have data, which has two parts. One of them has header, the other part is body. They will check, okay, if the password is true, if the endpoint is true, if everything is cool, okay, and then they will get the data from this JSON, but first they have to deserialize this JSON according to their language. Let's assume they are using Python. They have to deserialize this into Python language and then insert to their database. After inserting, it's up to them. They can give some response to me. Actually, I'm going to receive a response, but they may add something in it. If don't, I will have the response right away. This is created by internet. Let's go like this. You don't need to think. It's created right away. You will all see, what I'm talking about. And then I am going to receive something. Let's go back. I will receive this header and body as response, and I'm going to check if everything is cool. Then do whatever I want. Okay, let's continue with another scenario. Let's say we are making a GET request. Let's combine these two. According to the request, we have to change our mind, okay? Now think that we are making our client. We are learning now client side. We are making a GET request, which means we want to retrieve some data. Now, we don't need to serialize anything because we will say, okay, I need data, that's all. This will create header and body. Body will have nothing here because we will not say, I want to get data from you. And then when they receive, they will understand that this is a GET method because we created this request. It's a GET request. What they will do, they will fetch some data, which we did here. Now, if our opponent says, I want to get some data, this method will run. This is going to fetch, as you see, my friends, some records, and then I'm going to return. But here, it's not finished. I have to deserialize or etc. But you will understand. Now I fetch the data and I'm returning that data. For now, you should understand like this, but actually it's not, it will not work like that. Okay, now I said I need some data. They understood my request. They fetched the data and then they have to convert to JSON. This data will be converted to JSON, which we name serialize. And then they will give the response. As you see, I'm going to receive header and body because I wanted data from them. And then when I receive this data, I will check what I received. And then after this, I can do whatever I want. I can insert to my database. I can send some email to these users, whatever I want. Okay, this is how the cycle works. Any question? Because I'm about to start to show you. I'm about to start to show you what we have. Clean, Deepak?
I think I'm good so far.
Good? Is everything clear?
Yeah, I think I'm good. When I see example, I think I will feel better.
I will show all of them. Just you should understand, we, one side, client side is making the request, and behind the scene, our provider understands the, type of request, prepares the, code, and then give the response. Now, the thing you should understand, my friends, these are all done in a single method. This is my request class, I'm creating the client part. This is my request. I have to create my request. For now, it should be get request. And then I will say, okay, I need this data, and they are going to provide in single method. I will have the response. I don't need to create second method. In a single method, I will create the request and have the response right away and do whatever I want here. I can convert it, I can, I can send email, etc., etc. Just we should be careful about this part. Okay, now what we are going, these are the basics, first of all. These are the basics. Now, what we are going to do from now on, I will show you in 4 steps. First, we have client and we have provider, right? We understood the relation between client and provider. We have a program, an application called Postman. Postman is acting like a client. Postman is acting like a client. We have several applications, but Postman is the most used one. Okay, most used one. This is the environment which we are going to learn. We need a provider. We need a provider. Now, we have lots of websites, but special website we have, it's named GoRest. They prepared their website as the provider, and it's free. And it's free. First, in our first step, we will learn how to create request and receive the response with using Postman and GoRest. In this part, we will talk a lot, and we'll try to learn what, how integration works. This is our first step. Second, what we are going to do in our second step, instead of Postman, we will have Salesforce. On our provider side, it's going to be GoRest, and our Salesforce will make the request like Postman. We are going to write some codes here. We will say, okay, now Postman will make get request. We will say, okay, now let's write some code like Postman. We will say, okay, please, I need to get some data. And then they will provide some response to us and do whatever we want. We will do that. This is going to be our second. For sure, we will learn get request, post request, all the requests with Postman, and also in our Salesforce, we will make get request, post request, and all the requests. Okay, this is how we will learn. This is the first step, Postman and GoRest. Second, Salesforce and GoRest. Third step, now Postman will be client and our org will be the provider. They will ask, Postman will require something, they may get, get request, post request, etc. And we are going to return something to them, which means we have to write HTTP GET, HTTP POST, all the methods, which means Salesforce will be the provider. In this part, my friends, Salesforce was client. Here it will be provider. And the final part, we will create, we will have second org. This is going to be your second org, okay? And we have already created our provider side. These two will interact with each other. One will be client, the second org will be provider, and we will create the integration between these two. These are the steps which we are going to do. Now, today, the first step, and I will try to show you, and maybe if we have time, we can continue with the second part. Now, what we learned until now, we learned how Salesforce can be a provider with a tiny method. Why we did this? Because now I'm going to use Postman and the GoRest. We will try to understand their method. HTTP GET. Okay, how did they write the method? And we will say, okay, now, what about HTTP POST? We will try to understand their method, how they wrote it. We cannot see their method, but we will have the response. According to the response, we will try to guess what's their code. Then when we start writing our methods, we will say, okay, now this was the thing they wrote. We can write something like that. Okay, now today, please focus, try to understand their records, how they wrote it. Okay, now let's continue. We have an application called Postman, my friends. An application called Postman. Now, I want one of you to share your screen. I hope you don't have Mac. Is there anyone who have Mac?
Hocam, I use Mac.
Oh, okay. Then it's not going to be a problem, but a little bit tough. Deepak, are you using Windows or Mac?
I'm using Windows.
Windows. Okay, please. Can you share your window?
Sure
Because
thing.
I want you to download. Okay. I want you to. Okay. Now, please open a browser. Write Postman download here. Okay, please download a Postman. Now, by the way, I want to ask because sometimes I may need it. Stop. I want to go a little bit slow. Now, see, we have options, my friends. This is for Windows. If you are using Mac, I think you don't need to download. Actually, you can use with browser, but because we are going to be developers, it's nice to have this application. Now, Deepak has Windows. I'm going to show you this one. And please try to find, because Salesforce is it works with Google, actually Windows. Mac is we have some problems about Mac and Salesforce. Because of, I will try to show you Windows. Okay, you have downloaded, right? Deepak, now click Windows and please download it. It's going to be really easy.
Okay.
Download it. Now, good, you should go with Postman on web. Postman on web. Okay, stop here. Now let's install the program, install the application.
It's still downloading.
It's still downloading. Okay, let's wait for a while. You have two options. The best way is to download, but you can continue with the web. Okay, please install that program. Is it done? Yeah, it's done. You can double click, I think.
Okay, folder.
Hocam, I can, as you said, I can access through web browser. I just need to create an account.
Yeah, you will. No, you just give us some minute.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure that it's
Yeah.
correct.
Sure, you have to just sign in. Why it's not
I
working?
don't.
Yeah, click it, please. Now, this part takes time, my friends. I think we have enough time. Is it done?
I think I need to check here. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's done.
done. Okay, open that Postman, please. And you can go with, online, but, as a developer, you need to have.
Your
Sign
session is
in,
there, please.
yes, sign it, please. Yes, sign in. Now, this is the thing you should do. Good. We need to have, okay, now please use the sign with Google. I think this is going to be the easy part. You can sign with Google if you have account. No, first you have to create, yeah, I think we don't need this. First, we have to sign up. Sorry, we are trying to sign up, but first we have to sign up and then we will use this one.
Okay.
Let's go back because we don't have an account, right? We have to create one account. Sorry.
I'm trying to remember, do I have the account or not? I remember one time I downloaded Postman.
Can we
But,
sign up with Google? Yeah, can you?
Yes, why not?
Okay.
Try with.
Try with Google, Deepak, maybe.
okay.
No. Open Postman, yeah, open, please. It should be this easy. We have other, environments, but this is the most common, most known, most used application because I want you to understand Postman. It's easy to understand at the same time.
I'm not sure. I don't think my computer is this slow. It's taking time to open.
Yeah, then please close this program. Go to Postman part, yeah. On
This
left
is the
part.
post.
Okay, let's say sign out. Let's remove everything. Now I need this one. This shouldn't take this much time, but I don't know why it's taking. Okay, let's try from scratch one more time. Just we should create an account. If not, it's unusual. It's really unusual to have this one. Okay. Then let's close it because this shouldn't be like this. So let's open your browser. And then here, we will go with, let's sign up, of course. I want to sign up. Please give the credentials here.
Any username or the email.
Any username works.
Okay.
I signed up with my Google account and it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. It can be. And then create free account, or you can just sign up with Google. I think it will be easy. No, yeah, sign up with Google. Yes, that will be a little bit more easy. Okay, create one. Open that one. It shouldn't be like this, but somehow we had problem. Now, this is web browser. We don't have any problem with this, but let's try the application one more time. We have created our account, right? Please, can we try one more time?
Just minimize and try to open this one.
Yes, please. It shouldn't be like this. Okay.
I think it's opening now.
Yeah. Now, first we have to log in with this part. Did we log in? Yeah, we have logged in. This was the thing I was looking. Now we have our account and everything is good. Now we can continue. This is the first part. Now this is for client. This is for client. Now what we need, I'm going to share on Slack. Please copy this from Slack. Where's my Slack? It's here. Here. Please open GoRest.
Let me quickly go to Slack till it's open. Okay.
With the user part, give it to me. Okay. Just you don't need to write users because we are going to use this one, but actually we need this part. GoRest. Actually, you could Google, but here. Now, this website will be our provider. This will be our provider. Please log in to GoRest. Now, we need to create an account here too, which means we need to log in. Now, please click login. This is the thing we have to create. We should have two accounts, one for Postman, one for GoRest. Done. Please stop here. Stop here. Now, I can continue. Deepak, you created your Postman account and also GoRest account. Okay, now from now on, I can share my screen because I will show you the rest. Gül, do you have Postman account and GoRest account?
Yes, hocam. I'm using it on web browser.
It's not that hard, you know. Now let me open GoRest. Here it is. Now, my friends, this is going to be our provider. I want to make it like this. This will be on the left part. Now, I have to log in first of all. I have to log in. Let's log in with Google. I don't know, I have lots of fake emails here. Okay, this is going to be my token. Just stay here. I'm going to explain what does token mean. I have Postman. Let me open my Postman here. Here is the Postman. Like this. Okay, my friends. I think we have the same. We have the same. Now, see, when I created an account on my GoRest site, when I created an account, they provided me the password. This is going to be password, my friends. Left side, this is Postman. Postman will act like client. And GoRest will be provider. Both of them are free. Now, as you see, when I created an account on provider side, they provided me a password, which means when I try to get some data from GoRest, I have to provide this password. Then they will understand, okay, I know this guy because I have given the password to them. Then when they knock my door, I will say, okay, now you have the password. I will open the gate. You can come in and then take whatever you want. See, this was the first step. When I created the account, they provided me the password. Because it's free, I didn't pay anything. But some websites, they say, okay, now if you want this password, please pay. Then I have to. Okay, now this is the password. I'm going to use it later, not now. Now, when you click GoRest, please click here. Now, this is their database. This is their database, my friend. Let's try to understand their database. Now, think that, let me clean everything here. This is their account. This is their opportunity. This is their, I don't know, case object. This is lead object. See, they have some data here. We will go with the first one. If you want, you can write the codes with others, but we will learn the first one. Now, they are trying to explain something here. If you use post, you will create a new user. If you say get, this should be the URL. You will have some user details. Put patch, you have to use URL like this. And delete, you should use like that if you want to delete a user. Okay? Now, every website has some documents. This is their document. This is really, simple because we are learning, right? We are learning. This is their document. And now let's read it. It says, please don't post your personal data. Why? Because everybody will be able to see. Okay, got it. Second, it says, if you want to get some data, okay, you don't need to provide password. No need. It's their policy. In real life, my friends, it's unlikely. It's really unlikely, you know, you will say, please provide me data, and they will give you right away. No. But GoRest says, because you are learning, it's going to be your first step. You don't need to provide password. Okay. What about the other methods? It says, if you request put, call, post, patch, delete request, if you create these requests, you have to have your password. And if you want to reach your password, then you can click get your access token. You will be able to get your token one more time. Is this part clear? We are going to, you know, read a lot this part. We will come here and so because we are creating a put method, we have to create our authorization, which is our password, and then we will get it from here, etc., etc. Okay, now we have some resources, and they are trying to explain how to use it. And in this part, they explain how we can get our token, etc. Now, these are others. You know, if you want, you can read. You know, if you find some time, you can read. But this is GraphQL. This is totally different. We are using JSON. This is other. You know, it's another thing. Now, if you want, you can read all these things, but don't bother yourself. We will not dive that deep. Okay, my resource is ready. Now, if you want, you can open this tab with right click. These are the data they provide us. Now, they have here 10 different records. They have 10 different records here. Okay, got it. This is the database. Sorry, yes?
Sorry, how did you open this tab? I just missed that.
Okay, let me go.
Sorry.
Yeah, just right click.
Oh, okay.
And open it. Now, most likely, you will have different than me because I have some applications. This is a little bit fancy looking. Yours may not be like this. You may have just a string, lines of string, but don't bother yourself. Just you need to download some, you know, additional features to your browser. Then you will be able to see like this. Okay, I think it was Pretty JSON or something. Pretty JSON. You can, you know, add onto your browser, then you will be able to see like this. But it's not the problem. It's not a problem. Just you should understand, okay, we have database here. That's all. We will come here and go back. It's not a big deal. Okay. Now, I want to see my, let's right click. I want to see my password, which means, you know, our token. Right click and open in a new tab. This is my password. We are ready. My provider is ready. My provider is ready. Let's make it small. Now, it's time to understand my client. Now, you should focus here. We should focus here because we are learning how client works. We'll try to understand how client works. Okay. Now, we will imitate the actions which I'm doing here. Please divide it like this. I don't know if you see new and import here. If you don't, you can create a workspace. It's not that important, but you know, if you want, you can do this. Like just clicking create workspace. You will have one workspace and yours will be empty. This part should be empty because this is the first time you are learning. Don't focus here. Now, here, what I'm going to do, my friends, I am going to create a request. I will create a request. How can I do this? Please click new or just click this plus button. Both will work. You can click this plus button or new. Now, I will go with the first way. When I click new, Now, as you see, it's asking me, which one do you want to use? I will create an HTTP request. I will use an HTTP request. I will click here. Now, if you want to click this plus button, when you click plus, we launch on the same page. Okay? This part clear, my friends? Let me show you one more time. When you click new, will you use GraphQL or etc.? These are the other options, but we will continue with HTTP. Why? Because REST API is working with HTTP request. REST API works with HTTP. Because of this, I will go with this one. Click here. My request started. Now, from now on, I will not use that new button. I will go with plus. I will go with plus. Okay, now, this is the first step. I have created an HTTP request. What about my methods? I have to specifically say that which method I'm going to use. I have get method, post method, put, patch, and delete. These are the methods I can use. How do I know this? Because these are the REST methods. I can use get, post, put, delete, and patch. I'm creating a request as a client. Here it is. I will say get method because first, this is the first step. I'm going to show you this. Okay. I'm creating. Now, what I need an endpoint here. Let's go to my GraphQL. This is the provider part. It says, now, if you want, this will be your URL. Please copy and put it here. Please copy this URL and put it here. Now, I'm going to copy this and provide as URL. Done. This is the URL I have. Okay. Now, according to my documents, this is the provider saying this. It says, if you want to use get method, which I'm using now, you don't need any password. Okay, good. But if you want to use put method, you have to provide a password. For now, I will go with get. I don't need to provide my password. Okay, now I'm ready. I can fetch data now. But before that, I should understand what I did. First, I have headers here. I didn't create anything, but it's done automatically. I don't need to think about this. When you go headers, see, these are some part. We have cache control, we have host, accept, etc., etc. These are the part of headers. Now let's go to my PowerPoint. What we said, okay, here. When you create a request, actually you are creating this one. You have body, you have header. This part includes the method, which request you are making. Is it get, post, or etc.? If you have password, you have to provide it here. And if you for sure, you should have endpoint, you have to provide everything here. Now, this is the thing, my friends, what we did. Actually, we created a header. But these are some keys, some header sets. Actually, we said, okay, we need HTTP request, we need get method, and this is our end user. And also we have lots of other things. Ready? Now I can make my request. This whole part, this part is for request, my friends. Now I have headers, you will learn body, you will learn authorization, you will learn params. These are things you are going to learn. But for now, it's the simplest one. Just I have my method, end user, and the HTTP request. That's all. When I click send, I will make a request from GoRest, and they will give the response. I will see the response here, everything. What I mean with response, now, if they give the response, I am going to receive header and body. I will receive header and body, and I'll try to understand header part and the body part. Okay, I'll try to understand this. Okay, here it is. Now, just click send. I made my request, and here, this is the part I received. This is the response part, my friends. Now, see, I have body. I have headers. See, 29. I have some header. When I click here, I have lots of things here. And the body part, we should focus on body and header, just these two. I hope you got it. Now, when I make a request, any request, actually, I'm creating this one. And also here I have. The thing is, everything is in JSON format now. How do I know this? How do I know this? Let's go here. I'll give a break to you here. This is the format, my friend. See, it says this is JSON format. And I have some status here. Now, what we are going to learn, we are going to focus headers, body. This is JSON, this should be JSON, and status. These are the things which we are going to learn in our last session. Okay, let's give a break, and then we'll continue. We will continue. Okay, just we'll try to understand how provider and client relationship works. Okay, let's give 10 minutes break, my friends.
Hocam, can you please share your PDF file with us on Slack, if it's possible?
This one?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm not finished now. Let me finish. Then I'm
Yeah,
going to share.
when we are finished with this topic, maybe.
After I finish, I'm going to share it with you. Okay. Now
Thank you
let's
so
have our break. Hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you. Okay, now we started to understand the client side, and we'll try to understand the provider side, how they wrote the methods. Okay, here we are. This is our method. This is our client side. And this is our provider. They have written some code behind the scene. I cannot see. I cannot see that one. Okay, let's resume because maybe we will write something here. This is my Postman, and this is my provider side. Now, what we learned, we said, okay, first, as client, we have to create HTTP request, and then we say we need get method. We provided our end user. Here, according to GoRest, if you want to use get method, you don't need to provide any password, any token. We said, okay, which is nice. And then we clicked send. Basically, what we did, we created our request here. Our request has two parts. One of them is called header. The other one is called body. On body part, if you are using get method, you don't need to provide anything. But if you want, you can. We will learn. We will learn all these things, okay? We are creating header and body, okay? In header part, these are some keys. And also on header part, we have to specifically say that we have get method and all this is our end user. These are the things. We create request. And then when we say send, provide has, provider has some method behind the scene. They have a class. I don't know their language. Maybe it can be a Java, it can be Python, it can be whatever. I don't know. And I don't need to know. They have a class and they have HTTP GET method, which we have written one. Let me show ours. Here it is. This was our method, right? In a class, you can have only one HTTP GET annotation. You cannot create more than one. You should have only one. And I know they have some method which is here. Let's try to understand their method, what they have written. Okay, I said, please provide, I need to get some methods. They said, okay, I have HTTP GET method. If you ask me, I am going to provide 10 different records as a list. How do I understand? Because of this array. This is JSON. When I see this brackets, which means this is an array. And this is first record. This is second record. This is third record, which means they have HTTP GET method. When I say I need some records, they provide me 10. In my code, what I did, I said, I'm going to provide you 3 different records. They have 10. Okay, this is the first one. Okay, now I'm trying to understand their method. Okay, here it says, they say, provider says, if you want to get a single method, please provide the ID on URL. Okay, let's try to do this. Now, I want to get this copy Ganata. I'm copying the ID from here. Now, I'll say /ID. Now, what I did, I updated the URL endpoint, trying to imitate this one. It says, okay, please provide the ID. Okay, it's cool. Now, I'm going to click send button. I have created my request. I'm going to send it. Okay, please send it. Okay, now I received something different. What is this? Here it is, my friends. Let's make it black. See, this is not an array. This is an object. Now, I'm trying to understand. They have let's make the color, here it is. They have HTTP GET method here. If I do not provide the ID, they send me 10 records. If I provide the ID, they are sending me only 1 record, and it's an object. But this used to be array. Oh, we have object and array. No, they are providing this. Now I'm trying to understand, okay, how should they write this? Now let's try to understand here. I think they did like this. They didn't return as a list. They returned a string. They said, okay, this is the string. Now, because I have this, let's convert this list to a string. Oh, how can I do this? Oh, this is another topic. How can we convert a list to string? And they say, if, I think most likely they wrote like this, if let's say if the URL or endpoint is like this one, where is it? Let me copy it from here. If it has just this URL, let me copy it. And if it is like this, okay, then return 10 different records. Not this one. 10 different records. Got it. Else if I think this is the thing they wrote, if the endpoint is somehow different, what I mean, if they provide an ID, like this one, I'm providing the ID, says, okay, now return a single record. But we don't know how to write this for now. We are going to learn. Okay, now let's continue. Good, we got it. They have 2 different records. Everything seems cool. Now, I will continue. I'm going to show you one more thing. Actually, you will see lots of things. Okay, let's make it one more time here. We have another option. These are the things you are going to write. You can use parameters. What does this mean? You can say, please focus here, my friends. Focus here. Now, I will say, I want records which has Gopi as name. Let's copy. The name, please focus here, my friends. Name is Gopi. See, this URL changed. I'm saying that please provide me the users which has Gopi as a name. Let's say send it. Now, see, I received, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe 8. Okay, now I got it. Let's copy it from here. Go back to my code. I'm trying to understand there. Let's say, as if the URL endpoint, whatever you name, is equal to something like this. Let's go with endpoint because I want to name like this. Here. According to the name, let's say, filter the records according to name and return as a list. How do I know that? Because I see here, it returned with braces. Okay, when I see this, this is a list. Actually, all of them are JSON. These are all JSON, but I know this JSON has a list in it. Okay, I got it. Now, let's make it a little bit different. Now, if I say all of them are inactive, if the gender, let me continue. If the gender is male, good. Now, check this part, my friends. I used to have name, now I have gender here. And I provided Gopi and male. I'm filtering. If it is like this, good, send it. Now I received, as you see, my friends, 2 different records, but it's still an array. Good, I got it. Now, let's say, if I have something like this, I hope you are getting my point. Let's say, else if the endpoint is something like this, yes. Now, filter the records according to name and gender, and return a list. See, it's not as easy as it seems. I have to think everything. I hope this makes sense to you. Now they just have only one get method, but they have a huge, options to answer. We are not done. We are not done. Okay, which is good. I can fetch some data with using parameters. Actually, what I'm doing, I'm altering the endpoint, the URL. I'm changing the URL. Okay, now let me go, delete this. Let's go with one ID. If it is an ID, copy it from here, paste it here, and say send. Okay, I receive only a single record, but still, it's in a list. I have only one record, but it's in a list, and I have ID. Okay, got it. Now, I can make filter. I can filter the records, and this guy, the guys who created HTTP GET, they have a huge method saying that if I receive this, respond with that. If I receive this, respond. If I receive, see, it's a little bit, tricky and huge. Now, is this understand? Did you understand this part? Is there any problem about this? Now, let me make a quick recap. First, if I send just users, I'm getting 10 random records. If I provide a single record with URL, I got everything from here. Okay, what I'm getting only a single record, but this is not an array. And also, if I say, okay, I want to use parameters, let's say name, and this is going to be the name. What I did, actually, I made some change on URL and then send it. I received a list, which means they have written 3 different if statements. Okay, we have one more. Now, let's delete this part. Now it's the base URL. I have it. I have one other option, which is called body. Let's click body. I have to click form data, and I can write name here. But the difference between body and the parameters, when you add parameters, we were updating the URL. But when I use body, I don't see anything here. Now, let me show you. I don't know. Let's go with deep. Copy this one and put as a value. See, my friends, nothing changed on my URL. And still, I can send and fetch data. I have done this, which means, my friends, I have options. Basically, I have 3 options. I can use URL with parameters. I can use URL with the information they gave me, and also I can use body to get some records. This is how they write their HTTP GET method. Now I can understand how they wrote the code behind the scene. I don't know exactly how they did, but I know they have something like this. Is this part clear, my friends? Is this part clear?
Actually, I think I have few questions. So
Yes,
like
please.
in the params, like we are filtering, right? Basically, like I know my endpoint. from where I'm fetching the data. So the parents gonna filter the data, right?
Yeah, somehow,
But
yes.
yes, somehow yes. But like, how do I know the user ID there? Let's say like, uh, because we filter by user ID too, right? The ID.
Yes. Yeah.
Then like, how do I know like which ID to pass over there?
First,
I mean,
okay, let me answer this. First, just give me a second, you will learn. Just give me a second. Now, please don't forget your question. Ask the second one because we are going to learn post method. You will understand how we know the ID. Just give me a second, okay? I'm going to answer this question, but 5 minutes later. If you have other
okay.
questions, please ask me that one.
And one more thing, like, so we talk about the token. Like, my token gonna change or it gonna stay forever? I mean,
No,
every time I make a request, it's gonna change.
no. Now let's go to your token, which is here. Please click primary token. Now, you have limit here. Mostly you have 90 minutes, but I changed it to 6 hours. And here I made some changes, which means if I log in 90 minutes or 6 hours, I will have the same token first. In every 6 hours. They might change. It's not exactly they will change. They might change. Okay? First. Second, I know their work. They said if you have an account, this will not change because they don't need to change. But according to my knowledge, I can say, okay, in every 15 minutes, please change this password. Can I do this? Yes, in every 15 minutes. Actually, in a minute, in an hour, in 2 days, in a month, I can update and change this token. I could do this if I was, GoRest. But they are, they are trying to teach us. Most likely, they will not change this, but they could.
Okay,
Clear?
I got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Now, my friends, this was the first thing we learned. We learned how to get data from GoRest. Now, it's time to learn how we can post data. Then you will understand how we can know the ID. Okay, here it is. Now, I will do the same thing one more time. If you have new, you can click here. And we will have the HTTP. I can click here. Or I could go like this. Let's make it small. Just click this plus sign. And here, first thing, I have to change to post. Now what I'm doing post request. What does post mean? I will try to insert some data to GoRest's database. I'll try to insert some data here. Okay, let's do this. Now, for sure, I need to check my URL. It says now, if you want to post, let's make it a little bit big. These are the things, they provide. They say, okay, if you want to use post, please use this URL. Got it? Which means I have to copy this. Let's copy and provide it here. This is going to be my user. Got it. Good. What I'm doing now, I'm creating the request. I'm creating the request, my friends. Okay, I'm creating the request. Okay, now, if I used get method, I could click send and receive the data. Good. If I say post, let me try it. Let me try it. Send it. I received something different. Host method says, sorry, your authentication failed. Good. They have something here, but more important thing is I received something here. Oh, what's the difference this part? This is important, my friend. This is really important. Okay, let's go. I want you to focus here. If it was get method, when I say send, I received 200. When I said post and send, I received 401. What is this called? This is called, my friends, HTTP status code. This part is called HTTP status code. Now let's check it. HTTP status, not this one, status codes. Let's go like this. You can go anywhere, you can open any of them. Here it is. This is international. This is universal, not international, universal. Now, if you receive, let's make it a little bit small. This is coming from header. This is coming from header. And you don't need to think about this. Our internet, your browser, they do this, not Salesforce, not GoRest. It's universal. Now, if you receive 200 to 299, which here, it means you are successful. You made a request and get your response. It was successful. If it is 200 to 299. If it is 400 to 499, you have some problems. Your request has problem. You did something wrong here. You did something wrong. Now let's go and check 401. What does this mean? Let's go and check 401. Let's here. HTTP 401 error. You can know all of them. Let me open this. Here it is. It says, if you read, it says unauthorized, which means where is your password? You cannot post if you don't have password or if you don't have the token. Oh, got it. Actually, this GoRest remind me this. It says here, according to their document, they say, if you want to put post patch delete, you need to have authorization and you should have bearer token. Okay, this was the problem, my friends. First step. Then let me provide the authorization. I know they have given me the token, which is here. Where is it? Here it is. Now I have to pass this, right? Okay, for that, let me copy this. Copy. Now, as I tried to mention, we are trying to create header. In our header, we have to pass password. Actually, not password. It's going to be a token. Okay, good. Now, let's go. Now, I want you to understand, do we have an authorization header here? We don't have, right? Now, when you click authorization part, please click authorization. You did. Now, let's make it a little bit big because it's a little bit. Now, here, they said, or I said, you should have bearer token type. The token type should be bearer, which means we have lots of types. When you click here, we have API key, we have auth 1, 2, etc., etc. Now, GoRest says, please choose bearer token. Got it. I choose bearer token. Now, I have to provide the token here. Copy, paste. I have already copied from here. I copied from here. I pasted. Now, I provided the authorization part, which means I have provided the token. Now let's go check header. Now, see, my friends, we have authorization here. We didn't have before. Now, I have provided my token. Is this part clear, my friends, what we are doing? We provided our token. Okay, let's try one more time. I will try to, let's go params. Now, I have provided everything. Let's click send button and see what's going to happen here and also here. Okay, let's send it. Now, see, I received a message saying that you have email field you didn't provide. You have name field you didn't provide. Gender, status. Oh, I have some problem here. Got it. What about this part? 422. Okay, let's read it. Let's go here. 422. I want. You know, when I receive something 400, when I see 400, I have some problems with my request. If it is 400 to 499, I have problem with my request. Here, I saw it. Now let's check. Let's check it. Let's open, I don't know, any of them. Here we are. It says unprocessable content. No, which means you want to post a data, but GoRest cannot process this. Okay, and here I have the explanation. It says you have a field, you have to provide an email field, but you left as blank. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, I gave my password, but I have to provide the name, right? First, let me provide the name. Here it is. Name is, I don't know, whatever you say. Let's go with Resul. Now, please check this part, my friends. I used to have name here, right? I used to have name here. Now, when I send it, see, it's gone. I have provided the name, which means I have to provide the gender. I have to provide the email. I have to provide the status. Otherwise, I cannot create a record here. Got it? It makes sense, right? Because I'm trying to create a record, and these are required fields. Required. GoRest says if you want to create, these are the required fields. Got it? Now, I want to write gender non-applicable. See, in Canada, we have this, which means they don't want to reveal their gender. Good. Email. I will say, I will not provide. Can I say this? Why not? Status. I don't know. Let's say genius. Okay, as you see, I'm providing some data, right? Let's send it. It says, sorry, dude, gender. It can be just male or female. You cannot say not applicable. Oh, which means gender here is a pick list. And it has just only male and female. I cannot say anything different. It's not string. Got it. Now I will say male. Is this part good? Let's change it uppercase. Can I do this? I don't know. I'm trying. Send it. Yeah, male worked. It can be uppercase. Okay, what about email? It says email is invalid. Now, I know, my friends, if this is an email, I have to write in an email format. please focus here. Email. Let me write this email because I'm going to show you one more thing. Resul@wise.com. Okay, this is my email. Let me send it. It says, okay, mail is done. Now, the last thing, status. Status cannot be, my friends, Genius or other thing. We have to say active or inactive. That's the thing we should say, active. Now, everything seems ready. If I click send, I know they have a method for HTTP post. I know this. Now, my friends, I'm going to post a record. I don't know what they return. I don't know what they will return, but we will see. Okay, now let's say send. Good. Now let me refresh their database, which is here. Refresh it. See, my friends, I have created the record, and what they did, they returned me the record which I created. They said, yes, we have HTTP post method, and then we need to, validate the data you provide. Especially mail should be, email should be in this format, and gender should be male or female. Status should be active or inactive, but you can provide any name. They validated the input I provided. After finishing everything, what they did, they returned the created record. It's their kindness. It's their kindness. Okay, let's read it here. Now, what I did, I hope you are getting this point. I create a post request. I provided the name, and then gender, and then email, and then status. I provide them, and then they insert it to their database and send me a response. This response was included, the record which I gave to them. Because of this, I was able to see my record. Now, here it is. Let's go back and try to understand one more time. This is the body part. They provide, they send me header and body. In this body, I have the record which I created. And what about the headers? I have 201, which means created. That if you want, you can check. If you receive 201, you have successful creation. And in my header, I have lots of details, which is good, and everything works well. But I have one more thing to understand. When I provide parameters, I was changing the URL. When I use parameters, I change the URL. Okay, got it. Which means when I say name, I had to write Resul here. When it was gender, see, I'm changing the URL, which means on HTTP post method, they said, if you receive this kind of URL, then fetch the name, gender, and then email, and then status, then create the record. They wrote the method something like this. Good. Now, it's our duty to write this method when we write our provider side. I'm going to show you one more thing. I will show you one more thing. Now, let's make a little bit change. 31. Let's go with inactive. Now, I didn't change my email. I didn't change my email. I just changed my name and status. Okay, if I say send, I received 422. We remember this. It means unprocessable entity, which means you have something wrong on your request. And here I received a message saying that this email has already taken. Oh, then email is unique, my friends. I cannot use the same email 2 times. Email is unique. Now, let's think how they wrote this one. They have HTTP post method. They received this URL. They said, okay. They have name in it. They have email in it. They have status in it. And they took the email. They said, okay, the email they provided was rasulwise.com. And what they did, they fetched all the records and checked if they have the same email. If they have same email, they said, sorry, we cannot create this record. If they don't have the email I provided, they said, okay, everything is good. You can create your method. Okay, which means in their HTTP post, they have written something like this. Okay, I hope you are getting the point. Now, what we learned, we can create record with parameters. Can we create with the body part? Let's try. Body. I have to select form data. Okay. Name, the first thing, and email, the second thing. Order is not important, my friends, by the way. Status. And then I have gender. Let's go with the male. Status is active. Russell is, let's say, test 1 to whatever. Email is whatever, jibber jabber, but it should be an email format. Okay. Now what I did, I provided in body part, not on URL. I didn't use parameters. I used this one. Now when I say send, good. I received my record. Now, Deepak asked, how can I know the ID? See, they are providing the ID to me. They say, okay, this is the ID of your record for future reference. Now, what I'm going to do, I need to do actually, it's all up to me, but I have to understand this part. Okay, now I have posted a record to them. They provided in the body part the ID of this record. Now, what should I do? I should store this ID in my database for future reference. Then, if I want to get the same record, I will say, please, can you give me the record? This is the ID. Then I can get my record again. Deepak, is this part clear?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, but the other records I cannot know. I know the records which I created, IDs, but if they, somehow they gave me the records, then I can get all the records. Okay. Now, we have 2 minutes. I'm going to show you how we delete. Now, let's go to our document here. It says, if you want to delete, you have to provide the token. Okay, I have already done this. Or I can create another request. Here, it's going to be delete request, and this is the URL. And I have to activate the token, which I have already provided. It's here. On my header, I have authorization. Good. Second part, how can I delete a record? Here, they say, if you want to delete a record, according to their documentation, my friends, they say, if you want to delete, just add the ID of record into your URL. Okay, let's do this. I have some records. Let me refresh this. I want to delete this one. Let's copy it from here. I copied. Now I'm going to append the ID. Let's check delete. I have created the URL. Good. When I say send it, okay, I received nothing. I received nothing. But here I have 204. If it is 200, which means it was successful. It was successful, but they were somehow rude. They had HTTP delete annotation. I have provided the ID. They deleted the record, but they didn't return anything. The method they created was void. They deleted, but they didn't return anything to me. They were rude somehow. But still, I can understand from the status code. Now, let me check this one here. This was the record I wanted to delete. Let's refresh the page. See, it's gone. Okay, I got it. Now, if I write the ID here, it's going to be deleted. Nice, I got it. What about if I use parameters? If I use parameters, let's delete this part. Now I'm going to delete, I will try to delete this part. Let's copy ID from here. Now I will provide the ID which I want to create. You know, if I wanted to get some record, I provided the ID and I was able to get something. Now I will try with the delete method. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's say send. Oops, I received 404, which means no, you cannot do this. Oh, got it. On our HTTP GET method, they said, if you send me something with the parameter, I'm going to provide you the record. Got it. But on their HTTP delete method, when you provide ID with the parameter, they say, no, I don't accept this. They didn't write some code for this. Good, I got it. Now, it's their, work. They could do whatever they want. This was the thing they did. Let's go with, let me copy this ID from here. Now, I will not go with the parameters. I'll try with body part. I will try with body part. That's form data. I'm going to provide ID here. Let's send it. Oh, still 404, which means if you want to delete a record, HTTP delete, they said just I can accept on my URL. When I say send, okay, everything was cool and they didn't return anything. See, I hope you are getting the point. You can write the method whatever you want. You can write everything. You could say, okay, yes, this, if you provide the ID on your URL, yes, this will be accepted. Or you could go like this. You may say, okay, if you provide the ID with a parameter, I will delete that one too. And also, if you provide the ID with the body part, I'm going to delete that one too. But they didn't do this. See, this is the wrap up, my friends. They have some methods. They can return something or they can avoid it. They can say no void. They can say, okay, if you want to, provide something like this, I will return 10 records. If you provide your endpoint, I'm going to delete that record. If you provide, in your body part, I'm going to return something to you. Now, this is called resource. We are going to learn this part, but before that, we will imitate postman. First, we will be client. We will be client starting from tomorrow. We will start writing some requests, and they will give our response, and we will do something with these response. That was the task for today. We tried to understand the relation between provider and the client. We used Postman as client. We used GoRest as provider. Now, I want you to think. You didn't write any code right today. Just we tried to understand what's going on behind the scene. Tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, we will try to write the codes. That's all. Any query, any question, my friends? Is everything cool?
I think we are good. Maybe tomorrow, for sure, I will have some question before we begin the class.
Yes, I'll be happy to answer if I know for sure. If I know, I will answer. Good.
Yes, me
Is
too.
everything cool?
Yes, Hocam, but I think tomorrow I should go over everything.
Yeah. Just this was the theoretical part. This was the theoretical part. You should understand this logic. Client makes some requests. It can be get, post, put, delete, whatever, and we create header and body, and our provider gets this and then do something and then give the response, and then I got this. This is the structure. Okay, let me share this screen with you, just this one, not others. That this part is important, according to me, I will say. Just you should understand the logic.
If it is important to you, then for sure it is important for us.
This explains the logic. This is how I try to explain. Just you say, okay, now if it is get method, yeah, this is going to work. If it is post method, this is going to work. If it is delete method, this is going to work. Then if you understand the structure, writing the code will be very easy for you. Tomorrow, we will start to write get methods, all the get methods, okay? Okay, my friends, have a good night.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye, my friends.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.